better get some sort of an explanation that he, I don't know, took drugs or something before he got to this moment, because he's not acting like himself. He's acting like an alien. So sure, go ahead and kill him. Go ahead and kill the imposter. I don't care at this point. Hey, this is the Sword and the Pen Reflections. It is my casual alternative to that channel. If you're here, you know the deal. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We're looking at The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, and I have not played the game, so I'm not comparing it to the game, because I can't, unless you want to tell me about it in the comments, which I would love to hear. Speaking of which, please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It really does help this video by boosting it in the algorithm. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, or hit the money heart thanks button down below. You can become a subscriber, you can leave a one-time tip, you can help me out with my dog's eye surgery, which was not cheap. Oh yeah, and one more note, you might want to watch this at 2x speed or 1.5 speed because I talk a little slower than most YouTubers. Anyway, let's get into episode 2. In the first scene, we are in a dream sequence where we have Abby, well, two Abbys, one leaning up against a wall in the hospital where Joel just shot everybody up and saved Ellie. And the second Abby is walking down the hall armed. This is obviously her remembering that moment or dreaming of that moment when she discovered the dead body in the other room, like discovered somebody dead. And the one against the wall says, "Don't go in there, you don't want to go in there," and saying, "He's dead." And the second Abby going, "No, I have to go in. Like, I don't believe you. I don't believe that he's dead." And then still going in, but then the second one saying his brains are all over the floor, and the first one still going into the other room. And then the one left in the hall is left crying. I actually really like this idea for, it's like the future self or the present self in conversation with the past self. Like, what would they say to each other in these moments? And I would love to see this again in future episodes. So I'm really hoping that we see this again, because this is a very interesting way to reveal how somebody feels about the choices that they have made in their past. And it's an artistic way to do it. Yes, it's a bit of telling, because you are literally having the past self or the future self talk to the past self, but I like the way that it's being done. There's a little bit of flair being used for this, and I'm appreciating that. It's nice to like something so far. So Abby wakes up, and the bearded guy is already awake, and she looks out the big window where they've been sleeping in like this lodge. It's all of them, I think it's 5 of them. It's 2 guys and 3 girls, and she freaks out over the size of Jackson Hole, and everybody starts slowly waking up and seeing how enormous it is and freaking out also, going, "I thought this would be like a little tent city. Well, we saw that they had lights when we arrived." I was like, yeah, I thought those were little generators. Like, this is a full-on huge town with power lines and everything. And one of them points out, yeah, and there's dogs and patrols and only 4 gates going in and out. Like, they obviously know what they're doing. So they are not going to be able to get in there. They start kind of going through the possibilities. Like, even if we get in there, we don't know where Joel is. And Abby says, what if we capture one of those patrols, because one of them observed that there was patrols and stuff, and we threaten them to tell us where Joel is. And the others are like, whoa, we said that we weren't going to hurt anybody. And she's like, I'm not saying that we actually would hurt them, but, we scare them. We make them think that we're going to hurt them. And one of the others says, what if they don't tell us where Joel is? What are we going to do then? We can't just let them go. And so that presents a big, huge hole in her plan. And she seems stumped at first, but then Beardy Guy goes, I think I may have the start of a plan. Like, I have something kind of brewing. And so Abby's like, all right, good. I'll go out and take the first watch. Well, it'd be the second watch because he already got up and did a first watch. He only was able to be out there for an hour because it was so cold. And she's like, and that'll give you some time to come up with a full plan. It's a little awkward, especially when we get this next little bit of revelation. So she asks, where did you go to watch? And he's like, up the hill. Like, you can't miss the spot. Like, just follow his feet in the snow. Follow his tracks. Anyway, that's fine. But once she has left, everybody wants to know what's going on, what's the plan? And he's like, the plan is to convince her to leave. It's very obvious they're not going to storm this castle. They observed that this is a place where there are actual military veterans who are helping to assist with like patrolling and rotating watches on the towers. Like, you're not going to sneak in there. I definitely feel like they should have attempted to get in as refugees. Like, they should watch long enough. Like, this is what you do. You don't like, oh, we're going in there tonight. No, the plan is we're going to camp out here or somewhere and observe for a few days till we know what their system is, what their rotations are. And then when you see them bringing in other people, that's when you go, oh, they will rescue people and bring them in. Maybe we should get rescued. And then they can just be integrated. I mean, okay, maybe the thought is that, well, they don't know if they actually do that. But I mean, we did see people get rescued just earlier. There's ways to find out information. Like, you could send one lone person in and they could be like, please let me in, like, help. Like, are they going to turn away one person? I think it would be pretty obvious that they're not going to turn away one person, but then some way for that one person to get in and signal when they've identified where Joel is. That would be a good plan, at least to know, like, figure out where he is. And then at some point that person can leave and let everybody else know. Like, I don't know. Either way, I like the guy's plan though. We're going to try to convince her to leave. The thing is, it's been 5 years and they have traveled all the way up to Seattle and all the way back here. So from Salt Lake City to Seattle to Jackson Hole. They've gone a long way and they're just now like, nah, that's too hard. I don't want to break into a big old town like that. Like, they just traveled halfway across the country. I don't feel like they would be backing out of this quite so easily, but I guess they're trying to build some tension for the audience, like at least tension. We want them to go and attack. I'm not really sure. Whatever. Anyway, let's just keep watching. I'm a little confused about that. Oh yeah, and I do have to comment that Abby, when she was running out to her, to go find where the lookout is, she complained like, an hour out here? Like, weren't you just trekking by on foot to get to this spot? Like, nighttime? Still be a lot colder, unless this is just like a super cold front coming in. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just being complaining now because I didn't take a long enough break between episode 1 and this one. So far, this is better. This is much better than episode 1 so far. Okay, then the next scene, Ellie is woken up by somebody knocking on her door, and it is Jesse. And he's like, hey, 8 a.m. patrol, let's go. And she's like, it's 8? And he's like, no, it's 7:30, but I like to be on time. This is a good leader. And he says, I heard you had quite a night after I left. And Ellie immediately goes on the defense, like, she kissed me. It wasn't like, anything. And he's like, whoa, I was talking about Joel fighting Seth, but you kissed Dina? Dude, we've only been broken up a week and you made a move on her? A week? How did Ellie not know that Dina had been broken up with her boyfriend for a whole week? I thought they were best friends. Had they not talked to each other since? Like, these are things that usually come up. Just saying, it's odd. If this is your best friend, it's like, that's usually what you talk about. So anyway, in the previous episode, it seemed like they had just broken up maybe a day or two before, but a full week? Okay. So he starts going like, whoa, you kissed her? And she's like, she was high. She didn't mean it. It was just probably to make you jealous. And he eventually goes like, that's okay, I'm just messing around with you. I already knew about that. He's like, I was there. And Ellie goes, you're such a dick. And she's like trying to close the door on him, but he gets in one jab in there. He's like, still kind of messed up though, which it is kind of messed up because she definitely did go in for that second kiss. This was not a just standing there stiff while the other one does all the work. Anyway, I like this encounter. I actually really like Jesse because of this. I mean, he has every right to be totally pissed off, but the fact that he's like not means he thinks that this was just bullshit. So good for him. This is a man who is mature, can control his anger, does not get angry over somebody going after his girl when it's not his girl anymore because they've broken up. And even though he recognizes that, dude, what you did to me as your friend is kind of a messed up thing to do, but he took the high road. This is the most mature person we've seen in the entire story so far. Dina, what are you doing? Don't let this man go. The next scene is unfortunately a lot of telling instead of showing. So Ellie sees that people are extra active today. They're rolling some barrels over whatever. Either way, there's extra stuff going on. She's like, what's going on? And Jesse explains, well, last night, 2 folks were on patrol and they came across a pile of infected. Like they thought that it was, anyway, they were like buried under the snow, and like 30 of them came out and chased them down. They got back safe. And she's like, 30, geez. And he's like, yeah, well, we sent out another patrol to clear them out, but now we're not sure if there aren't more hidden under the snow. Like it could be 100 or 1,000 of them. And Ellie's like, oh, wow, 1,000. Okay, first of all, that was a bitchy thing to say, but I have a complaint here. And this is, how does a huge horde, or even 30 of these infected, how did they get buried under the snow? Did they travel there in the fall before it snowed and then huddle up together? Did they travel through the snow huddled up together? Like you usually see them traveling just in one group here and there. Like why did they all go to this spot? I mean, I guess this is just me wanting to know, but how would they also not notice this huge group that just shows up? I guess maybe they're pretty far. Whatever. I'm just asking about, how did this happen? How did so many infected get buried under the snow? Did they burrow into the snow? Also, I gotta wonder, why are there infected out in the snow? I mean, okay, don't fungus sort of go dormant in the winter? Am I thinking of something else? I think, now this would be as a science fiction editor. So I usually edit fantasy, but I have edited a couple science fictions too, and actually some apocalyptic science fictions. But usually I would imagine fungus goes dormant in the winter. So it'd be like less active in the winter. So winter would actually be like, a good time for everybody. But if there were more evolved or more sophisticated infected, then you would wonder, perhaps only the more evolved infected are out and active during the winter at this point. Like they have finally reached a stage where now in the winter, we still have we have a danger of infected coming to us because they are more evolved. I could see that. That'd be good. I like that. Oh yeah, my complaint. So this being a telling moment instead of showing moment, we should have seen this. This is interesting and exciting. At the end of the last episode, instead of seeing those tendrils in the town, maybe we should have, well, I guess maybe we might see something come of that in the town. Fine. But I sure would have liked to have seen this moment where he's talking about, we had 2 people on patrol and they came across a huge pile of infected. Like that would have been really interesting and exciting to see, or even maybe to see somebody ringing the alarm, or having these 2 coming back and announcing what they saw on patrol. I think that would have been more interesting than literally just 2 people walking and talking, one of them telling us what happened off screen. So Ellie scoffs at Jesse, telling him about, everybody's worried there could be like 1,000 of these things. She's like, 1,000? Give me a break.
20 minutes later.
And Jesse goes, ooh, certainty masquerading as knowledge. How very Ellie of you. He's teasing her, which he has every right at this point to tease her, especially after she made out with his girlfriend when they've only been broken up for a week, which is a really thing to do. But then Ellie gets upset, and Jesse explains, well, somebody told the town council about some super smart, infected. That was her. So now everybody's spooked. And she goes, ugh, suck my and gets upset at him and is like, you know what? No offense, but I'm going to do this patrol with Joel instead of you. Why is she mad at him?
Oh, you can dish it out, but you can't take it.
I guess maybe she's supposed to be uncomfortable with him. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Just if she had just handled this situation, if she was just a better person, I would not be irritated here. I would not be irritated at her reaction to this. I'd be like, yeah, she's probably really feeling awkward about kissing his girlfriend, and he's totally taking advantage of his advantage in the moment and teasing her, as he rightfully should be allowed to do. I mean, this is like how dudes tease each other. So she says that she's going to go on patrol with Joel, and Jesse's like, really? After last night? I mean, I thought you don't like him. Like, you're mad at him or something. And she's like, everything's fine between us. He's like, you hashed it out? She's like, look, just stop worrying about us. She's basically saying, everybody keep your own business to yourself, and we'll keep our business to ourselves, and stop poking your nose. She's giving off that kind of air, but she says, I'm sure it looks really bad from the outside, but Joel is still Joel, I am still me, and you guys don't need to worry about it. Like, everything's gonna be fine. She has not been behaving in a way that indicates that everything is fine. And clearly things are not fine from Joel's perspective because he's so worried he's going to therapy about it. This whole first episode was about showing how they don't talk to each other. They don't relate to each other. He's been making the effort and she has been shutting him down. And here she's like, I'm going to go on patrol with him. Why? What changed here? Nothing changed here. As a matter of fact, things should be worse because of the previous night. This feels forced. This does not make sense. I'm not sure why it seems like she's going to insist on going on patrol with Joel because the writers wanted to have this conversation come out at this point. That's what this feels like. I don't see why we couldn't just have the two of them have a personal conversation, maybe while they're gearing up and getting stuff going. And you're like, everything okay between you and Joel? Which would be a weird thing for a dude to ask, but it would feel less weird than Ellie saying, I want to go on a father-daughter date with dad. Well, you know what I mean? Like daddy-daughter patrol. That feels less natural because she has no reason to, like, that we have seen, to want to hang out with him. She's avoided him, in Jesse's words, like the plague at every possible moment up until now. And even blasted him in front of the whole town maybe 8 hours, less than 8. If it's 7.5 hours ago, she berated him in front of the entire town. This doesn't make any sense. Oh my gosh, why is she ruining this whole story? Jesse breaks it to her that you can't go on patrol with Joel because he already left with Dina an hour ago. He wanted to go with you, but said we should let you sleep because he's a caring person. They're making him look so much better and her look freaking terrible. Like, oh, anyway, Jesse says we're going to hit up the restaurant. Maria wants to talk to you. Don't ask. I don't know. So they head off to the restaurant. We go into the restaurant and Tommy is letting everybody know, I know that we go over this a lot, but I just want to make sure that everybody is still on board. You can yell at me next week when you say I made you listen to all of this, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry, which this is fine. This is actually a good lead-in to let the audience know that this is something they've all heard before. And so he's not going to present this in a way as if it's not something they've all heard before. And it's fine. This is actually fine. This is a fine way to reveal information that everybody should already have. But it does make sense to go over what the plan is with everybody present. So we find out that, you know, they're going to go on patrol and what the town is going to do. Like if they hear emergency bells, where do they go? And a little girl is like, to the forest. And everybody laughs and giggles like, no, that would be such a bad idea to go to the forest. He says, old people and kids, you go down into the basements, lock the doors, barricade, whatever. Everybody else, guns and up on the roof. And basically, he's just kind of going over what the plan is if the patrol discovers danger and starts heading back. And obviously, if like there's raiders or if there are infected that are coming after them, the town will know what to do and be ready. Like, this is a good plan. Like, I like this. And this is a good way to set the expectations of the audience. Like, we are expecting that this is how things should go down. So when we get to that moment, things should not quite go down exactly the way we expect them to. I mean, it's not that they should not go that way, but that is, as a writer, typically the reason why you go through this. Like if you have a heist and everybody's going to go on do this heist, then you go over the steps of the heist in advance so that the reader knows, that's how it's supposed to go. And if everything goes well, this is what will be happening. And then when they go through the steps of the heist, something needs to go wrong. Like if everything just goes as planned, that's a pretty boring story. But there are exceptions. But you go on the heist and then things don't quite go as planned. And then everybody has to quickly think of a new plan, or maybe they have a backup plan. But these are all things that you have discussed and planned in advance so that your audience can see why things aren't going the way that they should be, or they can see at least that they aren't going the way that they should be. And that's what I'm anticipating here, is that this is the plan. We're going to see everybody do, like, definitely the town is going to be attacked. That's going to happen. But I'm expecting that things aren't going to go quite the way that they want. But at least we will know why. Everybody knows exactly where they're supposed to be. And then when things aren't right, we'll know that they're not going right. So anyway, that's it. It was a good scene. I liked it. I also liked that in the middle of Tommy's speech, Ellie was ready to just like totally be disrespectful to Tommy. And she goes over to Maria. That is Tommy's wife's name, who I could not pick up. I did not remember her name at all from the first episode. She goes over to Maria and is like, I heard you wanted to talk to me. And Maria's just like, shut up. Like, Tommy is talking and he's got the floor, and it would, thank you, somebody putting Ellie in her place. So anyway, the speech is done and Ellie goes with Maria to the kitchen where there is Seth, the guy who called her and Dina dykes the night before. Obviously, Maria, who escorted him out that night, had a talk with him and said, you need to apologize to her because you can't have people in this town feuding. It's a small town. It's not going to go anyway. He what looks very heartfelt, apologizes to her. He says, I was really drunk last night. And Ellie just, people get drunk and say awful shit that they've never thought of before, which is fine. She has a right to be angry, but Seth has the humility to say, no, you're right, but I'm sorry. I should never have said it. I should never have even thought it. And then he gives her 2 sandwiches and he says, these are steak sandwiches for you two on patrol. And I want you to come back safe. Ellie just looks at him with like this death stare the entire time. Like, this just shows how immature she is. I'm really hoping that we see Ellie grow in this season, because if this is who she is all the way to the end, I hope she dies. Like, there's no learning. If she doesn't grow and learn, she is a danger to everybody. She is a disturber of the peace, and she should really just get kicked out. She should get kicked out of the commune until she can come back and behave herself and have a little bit of humility. So she got this nice heartfelt apology, and he says, I hope you're safe out there. And all she has to say is, yep, and like walks away. It's fine if she felt awkward, but it is not coming across that way. Oh my gosh, I just hate this character so much. I wanted to like her. I really thought she was going to be better this season. Like, oh, she better change. She better become a better person after this. Before we continue, please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It's a free way for you to support the channel, and for me, it might bring in some money from all the commercials they keep putting on my videos. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon or Ko-fi. I've got links in the description. Or you can hit the money heart thanks button down below. Now, let's get back to it. We cut to Abby on lookout on the side of the mountain, and she's literally just standing there on this ledge out in the middle of, high elevation, in the wind, in the cold, shivering. There's no reason why she has to be standing, that she could be backed up against a rock. She can have like a little bit of shelter. There's just no reason for her to be standing right here. There's literally ledges there. Like, dig yourself out a little mini cave in the snow so you can just look out from there. Poke your head out every 5 minutes and just look, maybe even more frequently than that. But anyway, she's about to give up when suddenly she hears a horse whinny, and she looks through her binoculars and sees 2 people on horseback coming closer. And so Anyway, that's all we got there. I just think she was stupid. I don't want to transfer my distaste for Ellie and her stupidity onto this character also, but this was not intelligent. And the fact that she has dragged all these people from Seattle to Jackson Hole after 5 years to hunt down Joel and kill him slowly, they don't seem very smart, and she doesn't seem very smart. But hatred is a powerful drug. Back at Jackson Hole, we can see that Tommy is kind of overseeing everybody bringing these barrels up onto the wall, and he gets a call in from the radio, somebody up on mountaintop saying that, look, there's low visibility, we can't see anything, we're coming back. And so he's like, okay. And then he tells another person to go and call all the patrols back because, they have another radio and they're going to boost the signal and call everybody back because the storm is moving in. This is a great building of the tension. Like, we see them working to fortify the town, and yet the people who are out there to see where the danger is can't see anything, and it's just getting worse. This storm is getting worse and worse. Now they need to call everybody back. The music is ramping up. Like, this is a good building of the tension. Like, I'm enjoying this. It's nice to be enjoying stuff again. Jesse and Ellie are caught in the storm, and they can hear the radio call them in, tell them come back. And they're like, you know what? We are too far to come back in this weather. But Jesse says he knows a place where they can hole up. And so Camp says, all right, take shelter and we'll contact you later. And they bring the horses into this garage, and there are bundles of hay already in there. And I'm going, who put the hay here? It's a little, okay. I mean, somebody had to, like, harvest this hay and then bring it here. It's just, okay. Anyway, they close up the garage that they're in, and then they run over to a 7-Eleven. And Ellie's like, what the heck is this? There is weed growing all over the place, like marijuana weed all over the 7-Eleven. And she's like, what? How did you find this place? And he says, Eugene showed me. Eugene was his first patrol partner and eventually took him to this place and showed him and swore him to secrecy because he said that Maria wouldn't approve. Was it Maria or Marie? I think it was Marie, wouldn't approve of his weed farming. Ellie finds a firefly medallion and says Eugene was a firefly. And he's like, yeah, he, I guess, went to Vietnam or whatever. And then he starts kind of contemplating, like, it's such a shame about Eugene having to go out like that with Joel having to put him down. Is this the psychiatrist lady's husband? I think it is. So this is the same guy. So anyway, okay, so I have to think about this a little bit, but all right. So he's saying, gosh, the guy survived Vietnam, but ends up having to get put down by Joel. It couldn't be helped. So he definitely got bit and had to be put down by Joel. This must have been a big event in the town. And because it's a year prior, I can say, all right, we don't need to see this. But because we had at the beginning of this episode, we had Jesse telling her about some amazing event that happened the night before, the whole coming across a bunch of infected and then other patrols having to go out and kill off the infected before, they wreak havoc everywhere else, whatever. And now we're having this. I feel like this is probably an important scene. It just feels like a lot of telling of stuff that's not happening on scene. And I think this is probably a bigger event. I'm hoping that at some point we see this. But if we do eventually see this, then at this point here, I don't think we need to get this much rehashing of it. I mean, it's not the details, but to bring it up like this, I don't know. I guess it's fine. It's fine. I just wish there wasn't so much telling earlier in the episode from this, because then this wouldn't stand out as bad. But okay. We're then back with Abby, and I thought that she was going back to her friends to, like, tell them where, like, hey, I see some people, we should clear out of here. But no, she's gone to track, I guess, these two people on horseback, which they're going to get way ahead of her really fast. Anyway, okay. But she's trying to follow them, and there's this steep slope. Is your rifle?
Oh. We forgot him.
And she's not looking for it immediately. She didn't stand up and go, oh no, where is it? And look for it. Like, she should be looking for it. This is a scriptie's job. They should be like, hey, she had a rifle when she, like, slipped in the snow. It was literally strapped one arm through loop, like, it shouldn't have come off very easily. And if it did come off, the first thing she should be thinking about when she stands up and sees a bunch of infected is, where's my rifle? But she doesn't look for it. So I think they thought that we would forget it was there. That's okay. I mean, but see, when you're irritated enough to find mistakes in a show, and you see a lot of them, you stop forgiving the little things. I probably could have forgiven this, and I would have gone, oh, big deal. That, she had a rifle, it must have fallen off somewhere. I guess she was too panicked to think about it. No, that's a kind of a big deal. But either way, yeah, that's not a good mistake, but it's not the worst mistake that they've done yet. So anyway, so she's looking at these infected, she's spooked by it, and for some reason she's walking like further into them. I think at first she assumed that they're all just frozen solid, which is fine, but still, where is your rifle? And suddenly they start moving all around her. They're all moving. She's screwed. Now, at least we're now getting some cool action. Where is your rifle? Yeah, that actually is a big deal, because there's some indication that they went up to Seattle and got some sort of training. So why is her rifle not the first thing? Oh, okay. Again, I am wondering a little bit about the fungus and being dormant in winter, but I will go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt that they are implying that this is a more evolved fungus people. Infected. Yeah, and actually they would. I guess they have already kind of indicated that they would be because they've never seen them taking shelter underneath other infected before. But how are they eating? I mean, the human body needs food to survive. Are they implying that the fungus is actually keeping them alive? I mean, it does kind of give them superhuman power anyway, so okay, that's fine. Forget that complaint. That works. I can see the escape out of that one. I did notice that you can see one of the I don't know if these are real people running in the snow like this, but you can see one of them wipe out and then get up and keep running, which I liked. If it's not real, then good on the CGI people for making that look real, like by having somebody fall. Okay, this I actually like. So this ends up being a really thrilling chase. Like, I'm so happy to be like seeing something I'm enjoying. So she's running away from this horde of infected now that's coming after her. And she comes up on this wall and there's like a ladder that's just barely hanging down. She's climbing up over the ladder and like somebody grabs hold of her. Well, you know, one of the infected. She kicks them down. I do wish that she gets up and over the wall and slides down and runs off. I wish we could have seen that the infected were starting to climb up the ladder too, because like if she can jump up onto that ladder, they most certainly can too. Like they would literally climb on top of each other to get up to it. So, but she's looking for like a way into this building that's inside here and she can't find one. And she's walking between this fence and a building, looking in through the windows. And all of a sudden a ton of infected come and slam into the fence so that she is like in the small triangle of space between the building and this fence, and she's literally on her belly crawling as like dozens, at least it's implied that it's at least 100 infected are trying to get at her. They're even like tearing their flesh to try to reach through the chainmail chain link to get to her. And then one of them even gets down into the crevice and is climbing after her. She's running out, it tackles her, she's wrestling with it, and then thankfully, out of nowhere, somebody appears and shoots the infected off of her, helps her get up, and it's Joel. Like, I mean, that's a bit of a coincidence, but I'm okay with this sort of thing. Like, this is acceptable coincidence. Like, people will complain in stories like, what are the chances of this character winning the lottery? And, you know, the thing is that's what stories typically do, is they focus on the unlikely instance to happen. Like, this is fine. I like this. And this was thrilling. Like, I was scared for her. I didn't want her to get captured. I mean, except for that she was stupid and has not asked where's her rifle. And she probably should have instantly gone for her pistol to shoot, but she was terrified, so I can give her that. Maybe she hasn't fought an infected in a while. But anyway, so now she is with Joel. They run into this building and Joel closes the door and it locks. And you can see that this is a mine. And you hear Dina further off in the building calling out after him, says, Joel! And it clicks with Abby. This is the guy. So I'm liking this. This is great. This is really tense. I'm enjoying this. Well, so Joel comes back over to her and you can see her like reaching for her pistol, like she's going to take him out right now. But he's also got his 6-shooter out and he's asking her, are you okay? Like, hey kid, are you okay? Any bites? And she's like, no, like she has second thoughts about killing him right then. He's like, all right, let's go. And he grabs her, like they run down to where Dina is. And Joel's like, we got to get out of here. And Dina's like, where? We can't go back to Jackson. We're going to freeze before we get there. And she's like, then how the hell did you, like, where did you come from? To the girl. And I like this actress, but I didn't like her delivery of this. She looks so suspicious because when Dina asks her, where the hell did you come from? She goes, the mountain. Like, very suspicious. So Dina presents what's at stake. If we leave here, we die. If we stay here, we die. What are we gonna do? And Joel's like, I know, I'm thinking. I feel like Joel would be smarter than this. They would know this area so well that they would think of, there's a place over here. We can try to get to there or something. I don't know. But that's when Abby chimes in and says, there's a lodge nearby. My friends are there. You know, that's where we can go. And Joel asks, are your friends armed? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, good. This is our only hope. Like, let's go. So he's like, get on the horse. This is actually very good suspense because this is that creeping doom, that impending doom that I talked about at the beginning of the last episode. So when we saw the bad guys and they're going to come after, they explain that they're going to come after the good guys. You should have that threat hanging over every moment with the good guys until they arrive. Well, leading up to when they reveal themselves as we've come after you. And this is like, oh my gosh, this is not a good situation. Joel is literally walking into their trap. So this is great tension. I gotta applaud this plot thing here. The dialogue, again, was a bit rough, but I honestly don't care because I like the situation. We then get a scene of Tommy talking to the radio girl, and she informs him that all the patrol have been called back or they're sheltering in place. She says everybody except for Joel and Dina. We've been unable to contact them. I do kind of wish that there were multiple patrols that they couldn't get in touch with. Like, they're not the only ones. That feels a bit coincidental. It would have been just a little bit better. I would have just said, just make it so that they can't get in touch with like 3 different groups or something. And then then Tommy can continue with the same thing. You keep trying every one of them I think you said 10 seconds or something, whatever. You just reach out to every single one of them nonstop until you get a hold of them. Anyway, he runs out. Back with Jesse and Ellie, we can see that, well, Ellie is goofing off. She's found a gas mask and she's like, I'm taking this. And Jesse's like, no, you're not. And she's like, and I'm taking as much weed as I can stuff into my back. And he's like, no, you're not. And she's like, dude, we all know you're going to be in charge someday, but that day is not this day. I mean, I would like this conversation. Again, I would like this if I thought that Ellie deserved a moment to tease her superior. But anyway, they get a call in from Jackson saying, hey, have you guys seen Joel or Dina? They were supposed to check in from Coppermine and they haven't. And they both say no. And you can see the dread on both of them and the instant not panic, but like, oh my gosh, they could be in trouble. And they just rush out of the 7-Eleven like they are going to go and find them. I like this. This is, again, wordless coordination. We see that they've done this sort of thing before. They're both thinking the same thing. Like, Dina is the one that he cares about and her, and Joel would be the one, like, these are people they both care about. So of course they wouldn't have to discuss what are we going to do. They just know and go. I like that. Back in Jackson Hole, we can see that they are continuing construction on this house for some reason. I guess it's not all hands on deck in case there's an attack. It just seems a little weird to me. Plus, it's a snowstorm. Like, this is the last time Anyway, some old guy is hacking away at that clay pipe where they found the roots before, and he pulls the roots out, and he can see the moving tendrils of the fungus have moved in, and he's alarmed. The music gets ramped up. Then we cut back to Jesse and Ellie, and they're scrambling to get the horses ready to go, and they're opening up the garage, and they're discussing what their plan is. They got to circle around from 2 sides to get to the mine, and no matter what, we have to be in that mine in 20 minutes or we're going to freeze to death, and then they just take off. And it's all good. I like that, with the exception of the people working in this snowstorm during a high alert moment. It's just doing construction like that. No, I'm sure that they could have done this in some other way. Maybe at some point something falls while they're moving these barrels. Maybe one of them falls onto this pipe and it cracks. And when they lift it up, they pull the weeds up with it accidentally, and then you can see the tendrils come out and then they notice them. That's what I would have said. Don't have people doing construction during a snowstorm, during high alert, when we're like, we might be attacked at any minute. This is just not when people are outside working. Sorry. Then we get another scene of Joel and Dina and Abby on their horses, and they're running from this massive horde. And Dina says, Joel, we have to go faster. And Joel is like, I know, I'm trying. Why does everybody keep telling Joel that he has to go faster? He's already going as fast as possible. And for him to go, I know, I'm trying. Like,
Joel, we gotta go faster!
I know, I'm trying.
Don't say anything. We don't need dialogue to know that we wish they were moving faster because this horde is getting closer. They just shouldn't have had dialogue there. But that's a nitpick. It was just very silly dialogue. But We get a cut back to the pipe that is open and the tendrils being more alive and alert. And I guess they can see or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it alerts some other infected out in the forest somewhere that are still buried. They all start popping up. And I just have to say, there is an insanely huge amount of infected that have been hunkered down under the ice. So another giant group has popped up awake, and they start heading to Jackson. And then you can see the galloping horses, and Abby turns around and looks behind her to look at the horde. And you can see that the horde that's been following them changes directions. All of the horde is going back towards Jackson now. But where the hell did they all come from? I mean, that's a little odd. It's okay. It's fine. This is at least exciting and interesting. And like, I guess I could assume that they've been one at a time making their way and like grouping up. Like maybe one of them plants itself and it's like a beacon calling the others. I suppose I could give it that. Back in Jackson, Tommy and Marie are standing there at the gate when suddenly the old guy who had broken into the pipe comes running towards him saying, Tommy, Tommy. Obviously, he's going to tell him, like, we found this pipe with the tendrils coming out of it. And at that same moment, a lookout sees the infected heading towards them, the horde of infected, and shouts out like, bell, bell. So they ring in the bell, and then another guard comes over to them, leans over the wall and shouts down to Tommy, they're coming. And Marie's like, who, infected or raiders? And they're like, infected. And like, so she's like, quick, Tommy, you take Main Street, I'll take the rooftops, and like, go. I like that everybody is kind of discovering this information together. And we saw that the old guy who discovered the tendrils coming up was on his way to inform everybody, like, oh my gosh, this is something to be worried about. It is a bit coincidental, but that's fine. That's totally fine. The one thing I wonder, I would have asked the writer if this was a first draft handed to me. I would have said, have they ever experimented with burning those tendrils? Like when they find one of those networks of spores, or not spores, what are they called? Just, you know what I mean, the tendrils. Have they ever experimented with how do they react when we do different things? Like obviously if you touch it or put pressure on it, then it thinks, oh, that is a warm body to come after. And so they come after him. Also, can they see? Whatever. But what if you burn it? If you were to burn it, would the infected who are nearby assume danger and run away? I feel like that would make sense. But anyway, what do I know? The town is on high alert. Everyone to battle stations. We get a prepping for battle sequence that I actually really like. So Tommy is galloping through the streets with a bullhorn saying basements and roofs, basements and roofs. And you see people going down to the basements, like old people and babies and your mothers and babies, and barricading those doors. They put tractors and trucks and things like up against the front gates so nobody can get in to barricade the front gates. Then you've got like these slides being hung over. I think they're going to pour gasoline or oil or something on the infected and then light it on fire. Like that's what those barrels are. That is cool. So I like this. Then everybody is, oh yeah, they're also passing out rifles and flamethrowers, which I really liked. I do kind of wish everybody already had their rifles. Like I thought that's what they were talking about before. Like everybody is armed, everybody have your rifles. So if everybody's off doing their own work things or whatever, it's going to take them a moment to stop, go get their rifles and be ready. If they knew that there's a chance that these patrols could stir up danger, I think I would just tell everybody, have your rifles on you or have them upstairs waiting for you so you can just run to your post. But okay. Anyway, that's fine. This is still exciting. Like I'm thrilled. This is like the battle at Winterfell. Like everybody is in place and ready to go. And then Tommy gets up on top of the wall and you can see the horde is almost upon them. So the infected arrive at the wall and they take the barrels and roll them down to these slide things, and which is a little odd, except then I do get it. Okay, then they're full of gasoline. The infected have piled up against the wall and then they shoot at the barrels and they shoot at the infected. Everybody's shooting everything. And then at one point, Tommy finally lights a torch and everybody chucks torches out to where the barrels are, and they've been spewing gasoline everywhere, and there's big explosions, and then they're aiming straight down, firing. So like this is good. I like this, except that I still would have liked that fire seems to be very effective against these guys. We've seen it in the past. So what they should be doing is also pouring gasoline or something just over the edge of the wall and then lighting those guys on fire, because the ones that are the most threat are going to be the ones that are closest to the wall. But then even more, hundreds more infected from further out in the distance arrive. I mean, how many are there out there? That is an awful lot of infected that have been dormant and hiding for the last 5 years? Or I'm not sure. I don't know. Either way, like if it's tendrils can call you from only a mile out, that's not a huge space to like have gathered this many infected. Unless their range has gotten further. I guess I could see that. But either way, this is exciting. I'm still really enjoying it. Joel and Dina and Abby finally stop and notice that they're not being chased anymore, but they can see Jackson Hole is under attack. I kind of would have liked if we saw the explosion of gasoline and then we're up with them and then they hear what sounds like thunder, but that's when they stop and look back. But anyway, that's a minor nitpick. This is all still great. But Joel wants to go back to Jackson. Dina's like, you're not going to make it. And Abby, you can see, is like panicking. I need to make them keep going towards the lodge. She's like, the lodge is just a minute ahead. My friends have blankets and ammo. Like, we can help you fight. And they're like, okay, fine, let's go. So like they keep going. That was good. I liked it. It was like the moment of, oh no, is Abby going to be able to convince them to keep going? Or are they going to turn back? So it was good. So suddenly all of the infected trying to get into Jackson change directions, and Tommy is trying to figure out why, and he sees one of those giant ones that's with them, and it's ambling on, and he goes, oh my gosh, they're gonna breach, and he goes running around telling everybody they're gonna breach, like telling all the people on the rooftops, get ready. And what do you know, they breach. The big guy basically breaks through a portion of the wall. I mean, is the big guy bulletproof? Like, they didn't have something for what if those big ones show up. But okay, I mean, I don't know why they didn't have something to stop this, but we needed to amp up the action a little bit more. I would maybe had a couple of these big guys, and that's like harder to stop, is that they've got maybe more than one and they all are going for this one spot. But still, it's still great. It's still exciting. So Tommy and 3 other guys have the fire flamethrowers, and they're lined up on the main street, and everybody up on the rooftops is there, and suddenly this wave of infected comes barreling in, and everybody's shooting at them, and some of the flamethrower guys chicken out and run off, and it's just Tommy and this one other guy. But things don't go very well for everybody because there's just so many of these infected. Like, where did they come from? But it's still exciting. So they're shooting down at them, and the infected are noticing they're being shot at from the roof, so they're busting into the buildings. We get a shot from the basement in one instance, and we can see that they're also like pounding on the doors of the basement where all the elderly and the young are kind of hiding. And I'm like, why would they pound on a closed door? They don't know anybody's in there, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Some of them are getting to the roof and killing people who had, rifles and were shooting from the roof. So I like that. But this giant infected is running down the street, and Marie starts taking shots at it and actually hitting it, and it's not killing him, but he's annoyed by it, and he looks up and notices her and is about to go after her. Tommy notices the big guy noticing her. I mean, he should be worried about the infected noticing him because they're literally just running right past him. Anyway, and he starts calling out to the big guy to like, hey, look at me. And it notices him and it comes after him. But it's still exciting. I'm still like this is a character who I'm invested in. I like Tommy, and I like that he's being heroic here. He's trying to save his wife, and it's working. Okay, there are just a couple moments here that I would critique. I'm really enjoying this, but there are just a few little things. Like, for instance, when Tommy finally gets this giant guy to come after him, I mean, there's a whole bunch of infected, like, all around him, and they're not chasing him for some reason. I don't get that. But also, he finally gets the big guy to come after him, and you can see that Marie from the rooftop notices what Tommy has just done for her, and that now this giant thing is chasing him. And instead of like, he just attracted the giant one to save her, and she notices this, but then keeps shooting somewhere else. Like, hello? But then I think this is just bad directing and maybe bad editing. Like, maybe she was supposed to notice this and then like quickly notice something else and take it out, but then she's going to go after, because it looks like she sees that and then is like, well, he's on his own and just starts shooting somebody else. But no, she eventually stops, and she's going to try and get off the roof. and it looks like she's trying to head down to the street to get to him. But also being on the roof is just not a good place right now because there's a bunch of infected that have made it up there. But anyway, I don't know how some infected could make it up onto the roof, but then when she goes down into the stairwell, there's no infected in the stairwell. Like, don't they move kind of like a school of fish? Wherever one goes, a bunch of other are going to follow. There should be like a stream of them going up to the roof, but whatever. Anyway, Tommy runs into an alley and into an area behind some buildings and realizes there is no way, like he's cornered himself. And so he turns around prepared to take out this giant creature thing. It comes around the corner and he starts blasting it with fire. Seems to be working. I mean, I would have hid somewhere. I would have gotten into that spot and I would have found like something that I could hide behind. And then maybe this creature can't find me and then it leaves or something, but it's okay. He just stands there and it's fine. He's being brave. It comes at him and he starts blasting it with fire, but it's still coming towards him. It worked a little bit, but not completely, and it's coming after him. And then Tommy runs out of fire and this thing is about to kill him, but it drops dead before it reaches Tommy. I really thought for a moment there that Marie was going to come in and save the day, which I would have loved. I would have loved to seen like she came back, like he saved her and then she comes and saves him. That would have been just some nice symmetry there, that we would have had a moment where we see that they're both there for each other, but that's okay. This was still exciting. I just wish that we had Marie saving him. But then it might have been a little contrived. I might have been complaining at that point, like, how did she get to him without getting through all the infected? But either way, it was still good. I was thrilled. I did actually notice that he still has his pistol on him. Like, once your flamethrower has run out, you should be shooting the thing. I mean, I know that they've kind of implied that there's a part of this creature that is bulletproof, but what have you got to lose? I mean, you're out of fire. It's still coming towards you. Anyway, it finally dies and he looks very confused. Tommy looks very confused, like, why did it die? So I'm hoping that they're going to learn something from this, that maybe there is a particular kill spot. Like once the fire reached a certain point on this creature, that's what killed it. Like they should do an autopsy on this thing if everybody lives. Like if everybody survives and they get rid of all the infected, they should definitely do an autopsy on this thing and figure out what's its weak spot and then figure out how to use that against it next time. We finally see what Marie was doing. She was not actually on her way to save Tommy. She was on her way to let out the dogs. And all the dogs immediately jump into action. I loved it. Belgian Malinois are cool dogs. My sister has a trained bear dog that is a Belgian Malinois. You guys might have seen it in my videos when I was up in Alaska. But anyway, I liked that, thought it was great. And Tommy is there to witness them finally, the dogs coming out and killing everybody. It does raise a question though. Can they be infected? If this fungus can attack and infect humans, why can't it attack and infect animals too? Like, why haven't we seen animals being taken over and going? I mean, that would seem to me to be a far more vulnerable target would be animals. So I don't know if dogs biting infected is going to cause them to be infected. Maybe, I don't know. Also, just because the infected are dead, does that mean that the fungus that they were carrying is dead, or can it move on somewhere? I mean, that is a good question. I wonder. These are just questions I would have I would have posed to the writer to say, these might be things you want to think about before you publish this, because I think other people might be thinking this thing. But maybe the game has already solved this and I'm unaware of that. If so, let me know about it in the comments. This is exciting. I'm very excited. And we're back now at the lodge with Abby. Abby has arrived with Joel and Dina. So yeah, her friends are out looking for her when Joel and Dina and Abby ride up and they're like, let's get inside. So they all go up into the lodge and her team, Abby's team, is immediately like, putting a blanket around Abby, and one of them is checking out Dina's got frostbite on her arm and she's like, we're gonna warm you up slowly. And Joel immediately goes to the windows and he can see that Jackson is in trouble and he's trying to radio them. And he's like, everybody get blankets and ammo, like we leave here in like right now. And Abby is like, hey, my name is Abby and this is this person and this person and this. She starts introducing everybody and Joel's like, as I would be, don't care. He looks right back out the window and he's trying to contact Jackson on the radio. And then Abby goes, that's Dina and that is Joel. And everybody just kind of like, yeah, this is good. We'll just watch. Okay, everybody springs into action pretty quickly. One of the guys grabs Dina and is holding a gun to her head. Joel turns around just in time to notice, but he's already got guns trained on him. And Abby says, don't worry, we're not going to hurt her. We're just going to put her to sleep for a little while. And one of her guys, the girl, is reluctant to do that. But Abby's like, if you don't knock her out or, give her an injection or whatever, I'm going to smash her head in. This is a tense moment, and I'm liking this. And one of the girls comes and disarms Dina and disarms and takes away the radio from Joel. And Joel's like, look, if you guys want to rob us, take whatever you want. Just, fine. And that's when Abby's like, do we look like robbers to you or raiders to you? And Joel's like, no, you look like military. They look like kids to me. But okay, he's recognizing somehow that they are military. Or if they must have had military training, is what I'm assuming in Seattle was military training. They've kind of indicated that up until now that there has been some military training or combat training of some kind up there. So they inject Dina and she goes to sleep, and then Abby confronts Joel and says that, he's figured out that they are fireflies, or they were with the fireflies, and Abby's like, yeah, there aren't any more fireflies, indicating that they both know who each other are, kind of. And Abby says to Joel, I'll give you a chance to tell the truth now, and I'll let her live. And everybody else is like, what the heck? Like, you said that we weren't gonna... And then Abby's like, shut up. They look like idiots, but whatever. Anyway, this is a tense moment, so I'm liking this. So I guess the killing is gonna happen here. It was definitely sooner than I was expecting, but okay. So she asks Joel, where's the last place you saw the fireflies? And for some reason, Joel looks down at Dina, who's still breathing, and then over at Jackson Hole, and it's burning, and he turns back to Abby and he goes, Salt Lake City. And Abby's like, well, at least you're honest. And she grabs a shotgun and shoots his knee out. So he's out, he's on the ground, and he's not getting anywhere. I do wonder why Joel is playing along honestly. Like, why doesn't he just say, I don't know what you're talking about? Or at the very least, tell them what the hell happened. Like, where's the last time you saw the fireflies? Well, the last time I saw them was when they were trying to kill a little girl. Just say that. That would have stirred up, he should have already observed that there is some tension within this group, but okay. Anyway, he's not defending himself at all. He's literally just standing there, answering their questions, and then he gets shot in the knee. Okay. Abby tells her medic girl to put a tourniquet on the guy, and so she does. And Joel looks around at the faces of the other people, and it is clear that they are very disturbed by what this girl has done. Like, why isn't he trying to stir the pot? Like, hello, tell them what happened. And then maybe some of the ones who are like, you know what, I'm not really in favor of you doing it like this, will come to his defense or try to stop her. But she looks so evil and sadistic. She's like smiling and in pleasure here. Like, she kneels down close to him and she's just soaking it up. But everybody else is very disturbed by this. One of them actually said, let's just do what we came to do. Like, let's not drag this out. So Abby is now talking to him with a lot of sadistic pleasure, saying things like, do you even know how many soldiers you killed? 18 soldiers, I think is what she said, and one unarmed doctor, you shot him in the head. That was my dad. And I'm like, okay, so this is why she's been so mad. But he wasn't unarmed. He pulled a scalpel on Joel. I remember this pretty specifically because I would find it quite disturbing if he saw a doctor not doing anything. And hang on a second.
How did you get in here?
I said unhook her.
I won't let you take her.
Unhook her.
Okay, yeah. I just watched the scene over again. The doctor was not unarmed. He grabbed a weapon and said, I'm not going to let you take her. The doctor was willing to fight. Joel needs to say something. He wasn't unarmed. He was going to kill a little girl, and he threatened me if I tried to save the little girl. Why is Joel not saying anything? Like, say something. I do really like that you can see everybody else in her group, in Abby's group, is really disturbed by what Abby is doing. Like, she's been saying this is what she wants to do. She convinced them to come all the way here. What, did they think she wasn't going to do it? So I like that they're disturbed by it, but at the same time, I'm going, why did they come with her? But they've all jumped into action, just like, okay, it's a little, I don't get it, but at the same time, I'm really glad that they're disturbed, but I'm hoping that we're going to see like the pack turn on the leader, you know? That would be awesome because that's certainly what deserves to happen. This girl is a psychopath. She has clearly gone insane, and her entire existence right now is about killing this guy and taking pleasure in his slow death. Okay, so Abby is recounting what apparently the nurses told him. The nurses told me that you barely even looked at him before you pulled the trigger, and then you just walked right past his body and walked out. Joel should be like, did the nurses tell you what they were doing? Did the nurses tell you that he wasn't unarmed? Did the nurses tell you that he threatened me? He was going to come after me with a scalpel if I tried to save the little girl that he was going to kill. I don't care what the reasons are. That should definitely inject some doubt in everybody's minds, which he's already seeing evidence of. Like, why is he acting so stupid? Okay, now Abby is going on a little bit too long. So she's telling Joel about, I've been part of a militia for 5 years now. So she was 19 when her dad was killed and she left. And she says, our commander there told us that we should live by a code. You never kill an unarmed man. And you can see that hearing this is causing even more of her guys to be disturbed by what she is doing because he's obviously unarmed. And then she continues going, that's what you are right now. You're unarmed. And she's like, but you know what? It doesn't matter if you're, bound by a code of honor like I am or a piece of trash like you. There are some things that everyone agrees are just wrong. And he says nothing. I'm like, I'm sorry, but he should be speaking up right now. Why is he not talking? This makes zero sense. I mean, are we supposed to think that he's lost all hope? I have nothing to live for, so I might as well die? Because that's not the life that he has had. His thing with Ellie, if they had a falling out that was so bad that Ellie leaves home and he is literally living alone at home and he's drinking every night and his life is just in shambles, and then this happens, I could see him being like, whatever, just kill me. I want to die anyway. But he has not had that happen. The last time that he saw Ellie, she didn't storm off and I'm never going to speak to you again. She came home, the two of them looked at each other, and she went back into her apartment in his house. So, I don't know. This is just, I don't understand why he's not talking. And I don't understand why she's allowed to talk so long. I'm really confused. So he nods at her, agreeing with her that there are some things that are just wrong and it doesn't matter, codes of honor, whatever. How can he be agreeing with, he saved Ellie's life. He didn't do anything wrong. As a matter of fact, the last time he was confronted with that issue.
I know I'm a hard ass and maybe overprotective and she's her. But, what did I do?
What did you do?
I saved her.
There's no reason for him to be agreeing with her. And then she notices some golf clubs off in the corner. And we know what's going to happen. She's going to use those to beat him to death. Why is he not saying anything? I don't understand this suicidal behavior in Joel. He has not demonstrated being this kind of character at all until now. Where's this coming from? This does feel contrived specifically for Joel's character and specifically for his situation. He has done nothing wrong. He had every right to kill her father. This girl needs to know your dad was about to do some really evil stuff. And when I came in to stop him, he was going to kill me. So I killed him. The only person who's done anything wrong here was her dad. That was the only person who did anything wrong, and he killed him. Say something, Joel. What is wrong with you? Why have the writers decided to shut his brain off all of a sudden? This makes no sense. I do love, though, that she's about to continue on in her speech as she's going to fetch a golf club. And Joel just tells her, just shut up and get it over with already. I liked that line, but at the same time, this makes no sense for his character. This feels very, very, very contrived. Joel has not been suicidal at all up to this point. Why would he want to do this now? He thinks Ellie is back in Jackson Hole dying, possibly by infected. So why would he give up here? No, he would fight to go and save her, as he has done many times before. This makes zero sense. This is totally out of character. This feels completely forced in the plot. I don't like this. I would have hoped if somebody had sent me this, and hopefully season 1 had never happened, but I would have said, you know what? This is out of character for Joel. You need to build up that this is what he becomes. He becomes suicidal, and then this moment happens. Because it's not like Joel to act this way in this particular moment. Like, I was really enjoying everything up until now. Even him being captured and he's going to die. Like, I've been enjoying that. But this is totally adjacent to where all the writing has been leading to up until now in a way that's unnatural. We should come to moments like this and go, oh, I totally understand how it got to this. And Joel's behavior in this moment does not add up. So Abby picks up a golf club, approaches him and says, "You stupid old man, you don't get to rush this." And again, he nods in agreement. And then she starts beating the shit out of him, starting with his legs, making it as painful as possible. And everybody is watching, just totally disturbed by what is going on. This does not make sense. This does not make sense. Sorry. I actually want Joel to die now because he's acting so stupid. What a stupid thing to do, to just sit there and like, yep, just kill me. And there was no lead up to him ever having a thought like that in his mind. He had a very good reason to want to live. Abby is in Jackson Hole dying right now, or she might die. You need to go save her. You can't afford to die here. These people might actually be able to help you. Everybody around you is looking at this one leader girl going, she's a psychopath. And you're not doing anything about it? Like, what happened to him? What happened to Joel? We better get some sort of an explanation that he, I don't know, took drugs or something before he got to this moment, because he's not acting like himself. He's acting like an alien. So sure, go ahead and kill him. Go ahead and kill the imposter. I don't care at this point. Like, what the heck? I heard that a bunch of people got really angry at this happening. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. Joel was acting like not Joel. It's like, who is this guy? He wasn't even acting like who he was 2 minutes before. Not even 2 minutes, 2 seconds before. Remember, he was looking out the window. He's like, stop introducing yourselves to me. We got to get back to Jackson Hole. They need my help. They need us to go and rescue them. Ellie is over there, possibly dying. What? But you know what? At the flip of a switch, she's like, you know what? Yeah, kill me. I don't deserve to live. You're right. You should be able to torture me and kill me. Who thought this was good? This was not good. Yeah, I get all of the controversy and the people who looked at this and said, like, that's not right. You have unless there's some magic rabbit that's going to come out of a hat, there is no logical reason for him to act this way. This is not character progression that makes sense. I'm sorry. Totally get the anger. I totally get that. Like, if this is how this show, like, I'm supposed to accept this and just move on, I guess. I'm supposed to accept that one of the lead characters was body snatched and now there's some alien inhabiting his brain. Maybe it's a fungus. And he let himself get killed. That must be it. Okay. Ellie arrives. She sees the thing. And then we get a cut in of what's going on in the lodge. It's been some time. Joel is clearly not responding anymore. But Abby is still there beating him with her fists at this point now. And it's like he's not even feeling anymore. Like he's done. He's dead. Or he's just past the point of feeling pain. And her crew is really disturbed. One of them, the medic girl, is literally crying in the corner. And the other one is like, Abby, this is enough. Like, too much. Like, you've gone way too far. Ellie sees the 2 horses. So we're outside again with Ellie. She sees the 2 horses tied up, which, I mean, that's not the best place to leave the horses, but I guess they thought they were just going in and out. I mean, those 2 horses should be having hypothermia by now. But she sneaks into the house and she can hear a tussle or something going on upstairs. She comes up the stairwell, opens up the door, and sees Joel a bloody mess on the floor with the girl on top of him beating him. And she comes in about to, like, she announces herself basically. And she comes in and she's immediately, they disarm her and pin her to the ground. She's helpless now. That's fine. I actually think that's fine. That's a fine reaction. She comes up, she's so shocked at what she sees. But I mean, this is like one of the examples of Ellie, you are not as badass as you think you are. All these times before, you are just talk and nothing to support it. I watched the tussle again. So as Abby went down, she had a dagger out with her pistol, and she swung back blindly and got a guy, I think in the forehead. It's not really clear. But so one of the guys wants to immediately kill her, but the other guy is like, hey, no, stop, no. And anyway, Ellie is on her stomach on the floor with one of the girls and one of the guys, well, one of the guys was on top of her and then stopped, but the girl's on top of her now. And she's calling to Joel, like, get up, Joel, get up, get up. And he tries to get up, and she's like hopeful for a moment, but he can't get up. It's like, did his brain switch off as soon as he got like shot through the knee? Or not even through the knee. It was when he turned around and noticed that they had taken Dina hostage. Did his brain switch off and he forgot all about Ellie until she's right there? And oh, now he's going to fight for his life. I'm sorry, at this point, like, yes, kill him off, please. Just get rid of him. And then Abby comes over and grabs she's beaten him so hard with the clubs that the head has come off of the club. Okay. And Ellie is begging Abby, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, please don't do it. And of course, Abby just does it. Stabs him right through the neck. So Joel is dead. He didn't like even once try to fight for his life. But everything gets a little bit muted, and we see that guy who Ellie knifed still wants to come after her, but the other guy is still stopping him. Anyway, so Ellie finally but only comes to her senses enough to shout out at everybody that she's going to kill them. She's going to kill every single one of them. And the guy who wanted to kill her anyway because she knifed him comes over and kicks her right in the gut, and now she can't shout out after them. Thank goodness, just shut up. But everybody just slowly packs up their stuff and they leave. Ellie climbs over to, I was going to call him Pedro Pascal, Joel's body. It doesn't feel like Joel. Like, this wasn't Joel who died. I don't know who the writers decided to turn him into, but it wasn't Joel, so whatever. She pulls out the thing out of his neck and then lays on top of him. I like this. I mean, if I delete in my brain the stupid way that Joel behaved to get himself killed, which is what happened, I can like all of this. We get sort of music over everything, and we're seeing the aftermath of everything. So she's on Joel's body crying, and he is definitely gone. And we get back to Jackson Hole, and we can see that Tommy and Marie have reunited, and they're happy to see each other alive. We're seeing that some people were bit and they're still alive. I like this shot. It's the first one we get of a guy on the watchtower who has been bit, and he holds up his arm and, he hands a gun to another guy, and the guy takes it and just shoots him. So I like that. That's good. And then we get back to Ellie, and Jesse has obviously come and found her, and they have wrapped up Joel's body and they're dragging it behind them. So Dina is awake, and it's Ellie, Dina, and Jesse riding back to Jackson, dragging Joel's wrapped up body behind them. And that's the end of that. I don't know if I can be any clearer about how I felt about this episode than what I have already said, but this could have been such a great moment. If we had seen Joel's moment built up to in a better way, then I would have accepted this and said, oh, dang, like, this is going to be so freaking tragic. And if Ellie was written as a character who I wanted to, like, not have the worst thing in the world ever happen to her, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I can't see Ellie come in and see this. I don't want to see this. Like, but neither of those things happened. Joel flipped a switch and became somebody else. So this wasn't really Joel who died. It's just weird. And then Ellie, I don't care about her. The only thing I cared about was Joel, but this isn't Joel. So, like, whatever. Ellie coming in here and suffering, I don't particularly care for, because I'm like, oh, so this is what it takes for you to have a heart? That this is what it took? I mean, this could have been such a tragic moment. I mean, gosh, so much in this episode really felt contrived. So like even Ellie was like, nothing's wrong with us. We're still together. You know, we're still good friends, me and Joel. Like, what is that all about? They weren't. Everything in that previous episode, episode 1, was people telling us like, what's wrong with you and Joel? Like, you guys are on outs. Like, this is really serious. You weren't even talking to each other. And Ellie's like, what are you talking about? We're just fine. Like, this was so weird. Did the writers not pay attention to what they wrote in episode 1? And then you get to episode 1 and it's like, did you guys pay attention to what happened in season 1? Because Ellie learned nothing. She has grown not at all. She has actually regressed. She didn't just not grow. She actually went backwards. She went back to when she was her arrogant little bitch self who thought that she could do anything and everything. Nothing bad has ever happened to her where she felt helpless and realized I have to be a team player if I don't want to die. I wanted to like this show, but I don't know if I can. Like, was this intentional? Who did this? Who thought this was good? Anyway, that's it. I'm done. I've reviewed 2 episodes in a single day, and I'm just done. So, anyway, I think episode 3 comes out, in 4 or 5 days? Well, 4 or 5 days from now, but that's fine. We'll get to that when we get to that. But, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It is a free way to support this channel. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, or hit the money heart thanks button down below. You can become a subscriber. You can leave a one-time tip. Remember, all money goes towards giving my dog proper eye surgery, which actually she already had, and I'm just paying for it now for the next 6 months. So that's where all my money is going from now on. Anyway, that's it. Be good to yourself.